Hey boys and girls, I want to share with you a story today. And this story is called Giraffes Can't Dance. Look at that giraffe. He's trying to be silly, isn't he? Do you think giraffes can dance? I don't think so either. In this book, you are going to hear some rhyming words. And I want you to think about as I'm reading what words that you hear are rhyming words. So just sit back and enjoy this story. Giraffes can't dance. I see lots of other animals too. This story is by Giles Andrade, illustrated by Guy Parker Reese. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Did you hear those rhyming words? Trees, knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. I heard dance and prance. Those are rhyming words. Jungle dance. And this year when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. What word rhymed with sad? Bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. Rolled, bold, those are rhyming words. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Feel real? Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. Sneered and weird are rhyming words. Gerald simply froze up. Look at his eyes. I think he's really scared. He was rooted to the spot. You're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. Poor Gerald. So he crept from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and all alone. They made him feel bad because they teased him. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Did you hear sky, sigh? Those are rhyming words. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. Trees, breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. You too? I love this book has rhyming words. With that the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. What word rhymed with ground? That's right, it was round. Look at him, he's beginning to move. He's moving, swaying to the music. He threw his arms out sideways, and he flung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Everywhere, air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing! Gerald cried. Then, one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him, quite entranced. Look at him dancing. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. Above and love. So let's think about our story today. Giraffes can't dance. Who is our main character in this story? That's right, it was Gerald, and Gerald is a giraffe. Now, we know this story is a fiction story. It's a made-up story because giraffes really can't dance, not like people do. So in this story, let's think about what happened at the beginning. We're going to think about the plot of this story. Gerald was at home, and he really wanted to dance, but he was kind of clumsy, so he couldn't do it very well. And what did all the other characters do? They were dancing. They were dancing in their different ways. So Gerald wanted to be like the other animals. He wanted to dance. By the middle of our story, poor Gerald, they called him names. They called him weird. They laughed at him. They picked on him. They made him feel so sad. But what happens? He meets with the cricket in the story. And the cricket begins to play the violin. And what does Gerald do? He learns to dance. So in the beginning, Gerald could not dance. In the middle, he let his body sway to the music that the cricket was playing on his violin. And then by the end of the story, what happened? Gerald is boogieing with the best of them. He is dancing, and all the other animals are amazed. So when we look at a story, we want to think about what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So giraffes can't dance, but I bet you can.